47425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Recording in progress.
And as we were listening to that music wind down, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Sherryl J. Cusseaux, and I'm here with my guest co-host, Queen Regina Johnson. Welcome back to the show. Happy New Year to you. Unmute, Queen.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year's. Thank you for having me again,
Happy New
Cheryl.
Year.
We are so excited to be tag teaming with you. We've been doing this now for over a year, and you would think, in what, 2.5 years on Zoom, we should definitely know. We should have this thing down pat. But so super excited to have a first-time guest to our show. So first of all, thank you to those of you who have joined us live on Facebook. Thank you to our In Touch Radio listeners from all over. Our engineer, DJ CEO. Thank you so much for always making us just look phenomenal. That being said, we're welcoming Muffy, and that's Muffy, Muffy Charles, to the show. We are super excited to have her join us. She is very versatile. She's a professional businesswoman. She's a gifted woman, and we are going to hear more about her. But this is a show that will be all up in your fashion, brand, food, finances, and all of the other F's you want to think of as we begin to end the month of January. We will ask the questions of our amazing guests today: the who, the what, the when, the where, the how, and why of your business. And that being said, let me welcome first-time Muffy Charles. Welcome to Let's Talk Business.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing, family?
Family is great. And you're all the way from what portion of Florida?
I live in Vero Beach. The beautiful Vero Beach. Absolutely. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but Florida is now my home.
All right, yes. We feel you. Let's talk business. We have a guest that pops on every now and then, and that of my firstborn son, Rocky Cusseaux. Actually, he'll be here, I think, in a couple of weeks. Daryl, and hopefully he'll get to come on the show. But that being said, Ricky, can we just introduce the video segment for Miss Charles? Let's go with the natural product line, Pure Goodness.
Yes.
And so Ricky is doing that up. What an amazing name. She'll tell us about Pure Goodness natural products in just a moment.
Hey family, I'm Muffy Charles, owner and herbalist for Pure Goodness Apothecary. Were you like me? Sensitive skin, allergic to the perfumes and hidden chemicals in your everyday products, needing solutions without all the side effects? Here at Pure Goodness, we have clean, safe, and chemical-free products for the entire family. We truly believe in what we do and know that our community can greatly benefit in knowing what they're putting in and on their bodies. Our mission is to change one mind at a time with the natural way of thinking. We offer healthy, healing solutions, and we look forward to serving you in your natural product journey. Welcome to Pure Goodness. Hey,
Welcome. we welcome we welcome Muffy Charles and Pure Goodness. You're going to hear about another goodness on probably the second half of the show. But let's just dive right in because you have so much to share with us. But first, Regina, how did you meet Muffy?
Well, I met Muffy when I started my business back in Jacksonville. I was on new territory. However, we were vending at an event, and when we met, I went over to try her products. At that time, she was, oh my goodness. When I put her product on, that's what I said. Oh my goodness. It was amazing. Her personality and my personality, we were next to each other every event. We vended and we stayed in contact. She has an amazing personality. She's about business. I'm about business. It was a natural. It was a natural.
Yes, it was. It was almost instant though.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one thing. When you see Queen, she's beautiful, but when you get to experience her, she is far beyond that. She just has this thing about her that's so welcoming and so warm, so motherly. It's just automatic, and you just melt and get right on in line. You know, I can't explain it, but it's a beautiful thing. It's absolutely beautiful.
You know what? Today, in our culture, in our world, with so much going on, especially when it comes to racism and hatred, it's just and mean-spirited people.
Oh, yeah.
Muffy Charles, it is great to hear you keep such accolades on Regina. I call her Queen because she is a queen.
I do too.
To hear you come back and say that means a world of good for us to hear that today.
Oh, it's true. Listen, I hold such high value of the people in my life and the people that either God has assigned to me or has assigned me to them. And you just got to know. And if you're in touch with who you are spiritually, you'll know those people who just automatically your spirit connects to. And when they don't connect, you'll see it immediately. When your spirit and their spirit does not connect, you feel it. You see it. You feel it. It's so obvious. So I take full advantage of the things that mean the most to me, and relationships is one of those things. Being so far away from home, you know what I mean? Not having my family here, I take full value in those people that I've been able to connect with.
Well, listen, you've made the connection, and I'm sure our engineer, DJ CEO, when you said in touch, resonated with him because you're on In Touch Radio. So it's just a beautiful thing to have you say that and share that, and the fact that that's the company that produces our show, In Touch News and In Touch Radio. So thankful for you sharing in those comments. So now let's talk about, because the average person doesn't just wake up and say, you know, I'm tired of these products. And I know that you all have heard and seen and read the articles about, and we've known this for years, about perms and what they have been doing to, especially in the African American culture, to our hair, to our scalps, and what it's doing internally in our bodies. And the price that we're paying because we wanted a particular kind of hair, and realizing that God gave us the thick, beautiful coils that just made us unique and different, and our scalps their own natural oils, and that's what allowed to run down those strands of hair and just make us just have the prettiest and the best afros you have ever seen.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of tangles too, or as my mom would say when she was pressing your hair in the back, what did they call that back there up the nape of the neck? The kitchen.
Your kitchen.
The kitchen.
So, Buffy, how did you get into the whole business of natural products? And then when you talk about apothecary, what does all of that mean to our radio listening audience?
So, I born and raised in Los Angeles, and I sung back up and traveled and so forth. I was living in China at the time. I caught a virus and I was paralyzed from the waist down. And they told me I would never walk again. So beyond that, in that process of just trying to find, healing, I was taking 17 pills 2-3 times a day. It was just becoming so much. I was eventually introduced to herbalism, and it absolutely changed my life. I was always having sores in my head from the dandruff, and I mean, you just name it. I'm just allergic to most things. And in introducing me to herbalism, I was, just exposed to what is the truth about our products versus natural products, how to use them. And I just went through the entire program, and I did it just to start making products for myself, and then I just was kind of sharing it with my friends, and they were like, girl, you need to sell this. And it just went from there. And it has just been an amazing journey. Everything that I use on my body, I make. Everything. Except I don't make my toothpaste because I got a thing about baking stuff. But I make everything. My hair products, my skin products. I make my teas, my seasonings, my soup bases. Most of my medicine I make. And it just changed everything for me. Everything.
Well, what was it? Because you were in China, were you on assignment, or your family was performing in China? Were you military?
I was singing. I was over there singing, and it was just a whole thing. And I was over there, and I was supposed to be there for 3-4 months, and I kept staying longer and longer. And in that process, they had a lot of typhoons, and so I kept getting a head cold. And so I don't know if the virus had been laying dormant in my body, or if I caught it, because it's in the family of MS and spinal meningitis. And so I was right in the middle. And so that's just a whole thing of itself. But I think it was more spiritual than it was physical, because I just knew that I was going to walk, no matter what the doctors kept saying. Oh, she's not going to walk, and go through therapy to learn how to live in your wheelchair. And I did all that. But I was confident that I was going to walk, because I felt like that my journey was about my disobedience more than it was about the physical. And it absolutely was. And so even in my healing process, the doctors couldn't believe that I was walking and so forth. So herbalism, God made the trees for food, healing, and medicine, and it absolutely works. Not necessarily saying that you stop taking what you're prescribed, but you take it alongside and slowly reduce those products and things that they're giving you, and those medicines. And let me tell you, it works. That, alongside with your diet, the food you eat, all those things, it definitely makes all the difference.
I appreciate your sharing that with us. We've heard the old adage, you are what you eat. And at some point, my husband and I were having a conversation with our son, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you're not thinking about, life and longevity. You're going to live a long time. You eat whatever you want to eat. You exercise, you don't exercise. But that's the critical period when you start to start assessing what you're doing and what foods you're eating. Are you getting enough exercise for your body so that you can, barring any diseases, but outside of just natural health? Those are just things we should pay attention to. But when you said that, how long from the diagnosis until you were finally able to walk, Buffy?
It happened right when we had the levee break in Louisiana. So I believe that's 2005. I was in China, and my family didn't initially know that I was there because I traveled so much. And then I officially started walking probably, I got out of my wheelchair about 2008 or 9 when I was on a walker and so forth. And then by 2000, probably 9 and 10, I was full back walking and in my heels and driving.
Oh my goodness.
I beat all the odds,
All praises to God. I'm going to turn it over to Queen. She has some questions for you as well. And then we'll come back and talk about what was your first product or your second product. What's you're most proud of? But Queen, you have the mic.
So yes, Muffy, questions that I wanted to ask you is the products that you're making. I know that you said that they're for just about anybody, but I do remember that you made products for pets.
Yes.
That you made products for pets at the time. And I thought that was something different that nobody else made. She had the things for the paws when you walk your dog, for paws, and I think some dental things that you had. So what led you to start doing things for the animals as well as human?
We had a puppy at the time. And so it was just easier to, here's the thing, when you make changes in your life, it has to include everybody in your house. If you're having a sickness and you need to lose weight, it's hard to do that when everybody else is eating Popeyes and everything else. So I tried to make the whole transition in my house with everything, even down to the puppy, you know, not using chemicals and finding things that were healthy and safe. Like not even using chemicals in my kitchen. It was just important to me. So from everybody in the house, I just tried to make that whole journey just move across the house. And it was easier when everyone is on board and it includes everyone.
Okay.
Even your puppies,
okay.
babies, everybody. And that's not easy to do, you know. However, I was able to do that. And that was my opportunity to use my family and me as the guinea pigs, because I always use a product for 6 or 9 months before I actually sell it.
Oh,
and at the
wow.
time, I wasn't even initially doing the business. It was just me making products, learning, studying. I would make this and I said, well, let me try this and let me try that, because we have to buy all these things. It gets expensive. Mm-hmm. And 80% of my ingredients I get from the grocery store that you can eat. The other 20% is herbs and essential oils. So it was just easy as, and it is cooking. Making products is just like cooking, especially when you're using natural products. But there was a need. I felt like it was a need for the animals because I was around so many when we're vending and people bringing their animals and so forth. And I was just like, this is the market for natural products. If I'm going to be a natural herbalist, I've got to do it all. You can't be halfway in and then you got one foot hanging out. If I'm taking care of my body, why wouldn't I take care of my family or my children or my pets? So it was just important to me to do that.
Amazing. Now, I wanted to ask you if it's something that I wanted to do, what do I have to learn to be a herbalist? Or if I have somebody that's out there, they're thinking about it, they don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do, where to start. If I wanted to be a herbalist, and I have that in my spirit because I love natural products, and we have a lot of people that wanting to start business, but they're afraid to start the business. Where would I start?
Well, I teach herbalism. I teach the classes. I encourage people to learn herbalism. We need more herbalists. We need more naturalists. There's so many things online, schools and different things like that. I was so blessed. I found a teacher and she spent 2 and 3 years. I still call her to this day. Learning. I did a lot of clinicals. I mean, we practiced and learned how to make the products. We actually used them, put it together so you can see what worked and what didn't work. Mm-hmm. So there is opportunities out there, but you're doing mostly online. I offer it because it's important to have those clinicals where you actually are making the products and seeing those things work together and see what doesn't work. You can see a recipe, but that doesn't mean it works. You know what I mean? It may make sense on paper, but it may not make sense when you're actually doing it. Mm-hmm. So if someone is interested, you can definitely reach out to me. I teach classes online, in person, and so forth. If you're interested, if you're really interested, it's important because you want to be able to help your family. And it's really just about studying. Anything that you do successfully, you have to study and continue to study. And you got to be all in. You know, it's about educating yourself. If I have a client that comes to me, I have to know if they take medication, what they're allergic to, you know, what they can and cannot eat. And that determines what I make for them or what I recommend for them, because everyone is different. Mm-hmm. My products are universal. But for instance, you purchase my hairline and I believe that you're allergic to citrus. Mm-hmm. And I use lemongrass in my hairline. But the blessed part about it, because I make everything. When you came to me, I said, well, I can make those same products. And you said, I want it in lavender. That's the blessed part of being an herbalist, that I can go back and recreate anything for anybody and make custom products, because you may be allergic to an ingredient, but you may not. So yes, my products are for everybody. And I'm able to customize any products that I make for my customer, depending on whatever they may be struggling with.
Yes. Well,
That's the
thank you. Go ahead.
I just want to throw out there real quick that a lot of times we're looking online and we see all these new businesses since COVID. Everybody's making products and so forth. But the difference, let me tell you what the difference between most of them and me is that I make everything. I don't make it. I don't buy any bases. I'm not buying somebody's product and manipulate it and make it in mine. I am making everything from scratch, from homemade, natural ingredients. And a lot of times you got to be careful about people saying, oh, these all natural, these are natural products. They can't be. If your product can sit on the shelf for a year, 2 and 3 years, it can't be natural. It's not possible.
And Cheryl, I wanted to add something to what she's saying. When I met her, she had what impressed me, and I know that she does her homework. I think you had created the deodorant. And I think you were telling me in conversation, it took me a couple of years to get this deodorant. So I thought to myself, if it took her a couple of years, she really had to do a formulation on that. So I tried her deodorant. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I've known Muffy for, I want to say 5 years, Muffy. Yes. I've known her and I've tried her products to know that they work. Her deodorant, you don't have to use it every day. You only need a whiff of her deodorant. And my husband, he was actually laboring at the time. So he was working out, sweating, and I tested it to be sure. Her deodorant is so good and so natural that it does something with your body chemistry, and you really don't have to use her deodorant or her products. Like it is really good. It just pure goodness. And I've always been impressed with the deodorant. Now, I also want to add, because I have so many customers myself, and I know we probably have a lot of listeners that have the same problem, eczema. They're really having problems. I have a lot of customers, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come back to Tampa so that we can take advantage of your products. Her products, they really, really work. And Muffy, if you can tell us a little bit about your eczema products and the products for skin irritation. I think the audience really wants to hear about that, because we have kids, we have adults that are having these problems, and it's probably with our diet. But
it's everything to do with our diet, and especially when the mothers are pregnant, they're just eating all these things that they want to, and realizing the chemicals and all the stuff that's wrong with the food, all you're doing is passing that down to your child. And what causes these skin problems and the eczema has to do with flour, yeast, potatoes, rice, all that bread. And when you're consuming too much and you're not flushing your system, or your body is rejecting all of that, it's got to come out somewhere. And it's basically plaque. The dandruff on our skin, on our scalp, that's plaque. When you have the plaque on your teeth, that's plaque. When you have it on your legs, it's plaque. What we call it, whether it's wingworms or psoriasis or eczema, it's what it looks like on the skin under the microscope. That's why they give them different names. It's all the same thing. It's just what comes out in your body, because your chemicals is different than the next person. So it may not affect you the way it affects me. And so what comes out on your body, they've just identified it and put it in a class, and that's why it gives it that name. But it is really all the result of your body trying to flush out toxins, and it's building that barrier, but it's trying to pull it out. And that's why it becomes so infectious and it spreads. So the eczema products are great because it's a clean product. I don't have a million ingredients. It's all natural. You know everything. You can read everything on there and identify it. Probably the one thing you won't identify is GSC, which is grapefruit seed extract, which is natural. But beyond that, you can identify every ingredient, and it stops the burning and itching. But it's a clean product. It's infused in oils mixed with local beeswax and essential oils. It's that simple, but it's what you use on those products. And it's great for kids, children. If you put it on their skin and they lick it, they won't have any reaction to it. It's completely natural. It's completely natural, from babies to adults. I can make things stronger or less, but most people won't really have an issue unless they're actually allergic to a particular ingredient. I've learned during this process, people are allergic to aloe vera. Who knew? But people can be allergic to aloe vera. So just because it's natural doesn't mean that people won't have issues. You just got to know if you're allergic to something or not. So we have to be careful. But the product is probably my most successful, from the eczema line to the deodorant. I do a eczema soap, ointment, ointment and salve. I do a stick that's great for traveling, and I do a body butter. I do a bath tea for children. When you take their bath, you put that tea bag in there, and it has all those herbs, which goes into the skin, which helps heal. There's drinking teas that's great for hair, scalp, and skin. So it's limitless of what you can do to help correct it. But anything you do, you've got to be consistent. You can't say, well, I'm going to take it for a while, and then I see a great difference, and then you stop. Whatever you do to be successful, you have to be consistent.
Okay. All right. So what do you think about that, Cheryl? A lot of information.
I'm actually taking notes. I am blown away. Regina could have continued, but as I listened to you, and I'm so thankful that you followed the whole manifestation process all the way through. And sometimes that's where it starts. It happens with us, just like with a pandemic. All of a sudden, a need comes up, and you find that niche. And if you're able to supply that need, before you know it, you may have the top business, in the nation. So you recognize something happening with your personal body, and that's usually one of the first things we have to do. When something, just recently, a few friends of mine had been sharing with me about this new gummy bear. Won't call any names, but they were like, oh, it's giving us so much energy. And, younger, we used to take like a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And I started doing my research online, and everybody was talking about how great this product was. So I was like, well, you know what, let me just try it. And so I ordered a supply, and I was like, oh, I'm loving chewing them. You didn't feel anything, didn't taste anything. And I was like, well, I can't really tell if it's doing anything. Next thing I know, I was asking my son, and he said, Mom, are you still taking it? And I said, yes. He said, I had to stop. He said, my ankles started swelling up. And I had just told my husband like the week before, man, my ankles, and I never have swollen.
Wow.
And then I was talking to my daughter-in-law, and she was like, Mom, I had to stop taking it. So we're all taking it. She's like, Mom, I had to start taking it. My glands were swollen. Next thing I know, I started to swell. So I was like, this is going in the trash. But, I wrote to the company, and I explained to them, not just me, but other family members, and they were very kind and just said, you just probably had a bad reaction. Sometimes you just got to work it through. And I was going, nope, this is over. And then, I returned the product, and they returned my money. Thank you, Jesus. But
right. I know what product you're talking about. And
don't even go there.
I'm not. But what people don't realize, if you
like this might be a thing with people of color, but we just adjusting to that.
People used to take it straight. You guys know what I mean when I say take it straight, but it will decay your teeth and make your teeth rot. Too much of it. Too much of any good thing is bad.
I'm just glad I never even got halfway through the bottle and was just able to stop that. But I said all of that to also say this, and this is why the first question, as I was sharing with my husband, and he was, what are you eating differently? I mean, the first question is always, what are you putting in your body?
Yes.
And I remember Regina, one of my younger brothers just got so sick, and it was like no one could figure out what was wrong with him. And just so happened he heard, I believe, a Buccaneer sharing his story, same symptoms. And the gentleman said, he later found out it was gluten. Didn't know what gluten was. Certainly didn't know that gluten was in food. And my brother had tried everything else, and he was like, "Let me just look at my diet. Let's look at this." And sure enough, the culprit was gluten. And now that I'm looking into it, you don't even realize how many products we purchase and digest are loaded with it. But now you can go to the whole gluten-free aisle. You can go to restaurants now and hopefully you're ordering some gluten-free food.
Yes.
You are so right. And I love that you are putting in the time to get it done. You're putting in the time to study the products and testing the products. I guess you turn your home into a lab.
Oh my God, if I turn this camera around and let you see this lab. When I say I got herbs and oils, but let me tell you, once you've experienced it helping and working for you, you'll be sold, because you want to feel better. Who wants to not feel better?
Who wants to not feel better? We're going to stop right there so that we can break for commercial, because we want you to come back and tell us, no, we do want to feel better, but we want to hear more of what you have to say. So see you back after the break. We'll mute and enjoy the commercials.
We'll be right back.
Tell a friend to listen in. It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater, and all surrounding areas. Before I let you, here come Miami's own Chico de Leon Grown Folks Night Out.
Take that mess from off the wall.
Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory. Strictly for the grown, put on your best, dress to impress, plus performing live.
Only you can make me.
Yes, it's Surface live and in concert. Chico de Leo Grown Folks Night Out comes to St. Petersburg Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory, 3601 38th Avenue South, along with Surfing.
Closer than just.
Get your tickets now. Tickets $15 in advance. For more info, call 786-486-4366 or 727-768-4543 or go to grownfolksmiami.com, and I'll see you there.
When you're close to me, I get all warm sin.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the leg work for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky, the legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
I'm here with my co-host, Queen Regina Johnson of Queen's Vision African Apparel. Our guest today is Muffy Charles, very, very talented young lady that has been just sharing critical information about wellness, and for us to just take a moment and pay attention to what we are ingesting and digesting so that we can better take care of our bodies. This is a perfect time to take a closer look at yourself and your diet and what exactly are you putting on your body. It's the new year, 2023. If there's ever time to get started, it's always that day. But for now, let's take this as an opportunity to check in with ourselves. And, people, some write resolutions, some make resolutions, some don't. I'm just a kind of things to do girl and always like to have a plan so I can check things off of my box. So call it whatever you want. But that's just how I roll. So Muffy, at the break, you were about to come back and tell us what can we do? What can we do to pay attention for living our best healthy lives, and particularly the products that we're putting in our bodies and on our bodies?
I would suggest it's hard making those transitions, and our body will sometimes turn on us when we, is not giving it what it wants. A lot of times, like I do intermediate fasting, which is how I've lost about 48 pounds in the last year, just on intermediate fasting. I hadn't necessarily given up a lot of things. I just have been more, deliberate in what I eat and what times I eat. But whatever change you decide to make, just don't do this whole long drawn out thing and this whole big challenge, because a lot of times we fail. We just fail. We need to make small steps. I didn't just overnight make all these changes. Even in that process of I knowing that it was wrong, I had to slowly make changes. Remove this. I had to start, removing like white sugar. I do, turbinado or natural sugars. Just little small things, and just gradually do more and more and more. That's how you become successful, because you'll have questions, or some days you may not feel good, or your body's just craving. So don't set yourself up for failure. Just baby steps. And as you're making these changes, educate yourself about that one change. Just that one change. You know what I mean? If it's white flowers or whatever that is, just focus on that. Research that. Look it up. Study it. Then the next week or two, or the next month, whatever your journey and your process and the speed that you do it. But just don't overwhelm yourself. It's easier to just say, I give up and walk away, than it is to just make those baby steps and make those commitments and accomplish that, and then move on to the next thing.
Muffy, how are you so successful at that, in making those changes? Are you good at journaling? You kept a log? How did you institute that process?
I am a journal writer. My mom's a journal writer. And it was just important to me. I was tired of not feeling well. I had just had enough. And I was just like, I got to try something new. It reminded me of Tabitha Brown's story. When you become so desperate to feel better and desperate for a change, you will try. Mm-hmm. And when you start seeing those results, because I struggled with migraines severely, they were debilitating. And so I found out just in the last year that it had a lot to do with the meat I was eating. Mm-hmm. I have not given up meat. I just eat little meat. I don't have to have meat with everything. Mm-hmm. I could just do vegetables or potatoes or, some kind of bean or whatever, or, nuts. But listen, the meat, the stuff that they're putting in that meat is killing us. And so I love chicken, fried chicken, and whatever, like the next person. I just monitor my intake, and I try to buy the freshest and healthiest version of that as I possibly can. And a lot of times people want, when they're buying for their families, they have to be economical about it. For me, because I don't eat as much, I can afford to splurge a little bit more on the best grass-fed natural meat. But I'm not eating as much meat as most people. And even with my mom, her being 81, I have to be careful of what I'm feeding her and allowing her to eat, because I want her to stay healthy, and what's in the food is just killing us.
And sure. Thank you. Kudos to your mom. And my goodness, 81 years young, and she's still vibrant and teaching and singing and playing and just living lived her best life, and continues to live her best life. And I'm so glad you said that. Ricky, if we could give a shout out, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the New Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church of Tampa, Florida, Inc. We are celebrating today one of our long-term members that last year she made it to the centennial birthday. Sharp as a whip. Queen Regina, when I'm talking to her, she reminds me of when she was an educator in the school system, and she knew my husband was an artist, even in high school. And actually, he wasn't even in high school. He was in, I think, elementary or middle school. And she would pull him out of class to do her artwork. And to this day, she talks about it. I was talking to her not too long ago, and she said that she kept one piece of his artwork. And I'm like, who does that? Who does that? But she is just super, super special. Her name is Annie Simmons, and she's turning 101 years. And we're just so thankful and so blessed. And so to hear you say this about your mom, we do, and she believes in doing a lot for herself. She always paid attention. She would sew, she would cook, just made everything, and came from that era where people took pride in what they did and how they took care of themselves. And so just shout out to you, much love to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing her later today. But we'll share her little birthday flyer up in a moment. But hearing you say that, and so did you get any pushback from your family when you were trying all of this stuff. And I say that because LA, he would send us all these documentaries, and I started following Tabitha Brown myself because my son was like, Mom, y'all might want to give up meat, or at least, go meatless Mondays, consider cutting it out, not give, do what works for you and your family. And he would send us videos of what's happening with, with the chicken and the beef industry. And by the time you finish that video, you would say, I will never have another piece of any kind of. But,
it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, some things you just got to find out what works best for you. And like you said, when I was in college, one of the things that worked for me, and listening to a professor and one of my pastors said, study by the inch. Study by the inch, you'll sustain that knowledge. As we all know, cramming doesn't sustain you. It's good for that test the next day, but study by the inch and not by the mile. And so, or not by the yard. And that just became a motto of mine. No matter what I do, take it in small steps and pieces. But go ahead, Muffy Charles, educate us.
Well, my mom, when I moved my mom here in the midst of COVID, I just tried to make some, real subtle changes. I make her an herbal coffee that she'll drink. She still wants a regular cup of coffee from, here and there. The sugar, I changed all of that. Just how we eat. Instead of using butter, how we cook, I use, chicken broth and stock. There were just things I was able to adjust to still cook good food, flavorful food, but healthier food. It was just important that I just, I tried different things. I've tried vegan cheeses and it took me a while to find one I like. I don't do like Parmesan. I use nutritional yeast. So it was just learning in this process, just substituting. You can still eat and enjoy a lot of the same things. I love chocolate. I can't do milk chocolate. Breaks me out. I just started having hives. I eat dark chocolate with sea salt, so it takes away the bitter taste. Just making the adjustments. I can eat chocolate all day long now. I eat dark chocolate, So it's just researching, just taking some time to look deeper. A lot of times we don't want to read, we don't want to do the work. So it's just easier for us to just settle for whatever's out there. But if you want to feel better, do better, you got to do your part. You got to do your part. It's important. Knowledge is power. Absolutely. And educate yourself. Educate yourself.
Well, you're right. Knowledge is power, but you got to apply that knowledge, boy. And that's the whole educational piece that we need to do. So, Queen, can you come back? And Muffy, I'm going to ask you. We've been showing some of your products to our listening audience, especially though, well, you couldn't see them if you were listening in, but if you were following us live on Facebook, you can see some of the products. And so tell us what kind of products you're going to be bringing, but hold that thought because we want Queen to come in and tell us about what's happening this weekend at Rebirth Event Park.
Oh, yes. Yes. We all know that this weekend is our Sankofa, and this is the winter extravaganza. We're doing the kickoff for Black History Month. So the vendors are so ready. This is the first event for this year. I thought that we would give the community a chance to get ready for Black History Month. So our vendors will be out with our Black History t-shirt, apparel, all the things that you need to stay healthy as Muffy is bringing, and so much more. I'm so excited about this event, about all of them, but some of the vendors that I have coming, I'm really excited about them, like Muffy. Her coming back to the Tampa Bay area. The community has been waiting for her. They have been waiting for her, and I talk with her all the time. And so she knows, and I just want everybody to come out and support. I have this girl that's coming with these Crocs, and it's MMS Plus. And she has the Croc. She's the Croc lady, and she has all the little accessories and everything. And Tampa has been asking for that. I had a guy that was coming from Alabama vending, but this girl called me, and I am excited about having her. So she'll have Crocs, and she'll have all the accessories. I have mine, and I like to bling them out, but they are comfortable. And so she'll be one of the ones that'll be there. I'm just excited. We're gonna have 4 different African vendors, other including myself, that will be there as well. But food galore.
Yes.
Food galore.
I can't wait.
Food galore. So listen, we're gonna have vegan food, which I'm excited about. We're gonna have soul food. We're gonna have smothered chicken, ribs, mac and cheese, yellow rice, country food. We're gonna have pressed Cuban sandwiches.
Wow.
I have this girl that's making homemade honey biscuits from scratch. Do anybody know anything about that? And my youth vendor, Journey, with the best lemonade, other than your grand. I didn't get her out here, but we're gonna have Journey here.
My grand is doing basketball now, so we'll have to wait until that season is over.
Yes, but her lemonade is amazing. I tell you, these kids, I'm serious. Grandma left a recipe for them. But so we're gonna have vegan food. But guess who we're having? I'm gonna have the Steaming Pot West African cuisine. And that's the African restaurant that's over on Waters. So she's gonna bring the fufu, the goosey, she's gonna have the jollof rice, and she's gonna have all the fixings from Africa. So I'm excited about her, your okra and all of that we know about. So all the ancestral food will be there. John will be there with the seafood fried grouper bites and smoked mullets and perch and all the fish. So I am overly excited about the lineup that we have. I'm overly excited about the lineup. We really have a really good lineup for this weekend. And Karen will be here with K Royalty with all of the t-shirts, infants, adults, whatever you're needing to make your statement for Black History Month and to speak with your t-shirts. She'll be there to provide all of that for you. So I'm excited about the lineup. I have so many vendors, too many to talk about, but we definitely want everybody out this Saturday to support our community, to support our people. It's going to be amazing. Raffles all day like we normally do. The vendors, they do a donation. So we raffle out those products to our community so that they can be a winner for the day. And the poet, we'll definitely have poetry from Kiki, an old school poet, father and daughter, which I think is an excellent combination that they're working together. And then last but not least, we'll have Muffy that will be performing jazz, R&B. She'll be on at 1. I'm so excited to hear her perform.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Let's just give our radio listening audience just a snippet. Ricky, can you roll the one video that we have from Muffy Charles? And while he's pulling that together, Regina, let me ask you, because from your very first event at Rebirth Event Park, I tried to purchase this bean pot. And it wasn't until last year, because he would always be sold out, but it wasn't until last year that I got to purchase my first whole bean pie that tastes just like a sweet potato pie.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
does. Will he be there tomorrow, Saturday?
Well, that's Valerie's Bean Pies. She's as soon as you come through the gate, she's right there. And now Valerie Bean Pies, let me tell you, she also makes jams, jellies, and she makes these syrups. It's amazing. But those bean pies, her bean pies, they do sell out quickly. The bean pies, her jellies and jams, they sell out real quick. So yeah. You think you're eating a sweet potato pie? I was the same way. Yes. It's amazing.
It is so delicious, and I appreciate that. We've got a lot of things to try out. I'm going to give a shout out to my son, Yannick. I'm so appreciative that as he was thinking about what to get his mom for Christmas, he visited Queen's Vision African Apparel. So I'm ahead of the game this year. I've got 2 new African outfits, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Looking forward to wearing them. I like the look that you're allowing us to now see inside of your boutique. Ricky, let me know when you're ready, and we'll hear just a little snippet of Muffy's beautiful voice. He's ready. All right.
All
What is this that I feel deep inside? It keeps setting my soul on fire. Slow it down. Whatever it is, whatever it is, whatever it is, it won't let me.
Amazing. I forgot I was on the show.
Isn't that right? I had to try to mute myself.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, what an incredible voice, Muffy. And we will get to hear you perform. And I've got to give a shout out. Our DJ CEO is listening, and I'm not sure if we're planning it, but him and Tammy, his wife, Tampa Bay Tammy, we do jazz under the stars on the campus of where our office, where the radio station is.
Oh, wow.
Fresh Fridays. It's called Fresh Fridays.
Invite Muffy.
Muffy is invited.
Yes.
Is It would be my pleasure.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Not just Fresh Fridays, but we do other events where your voice should be heard.
I will
Amen.
be there.
Amen.
You invite me and I will be there.
Amen.
You heard it
Amen.
first on In Touch News, and it's First Fridays. Okay, I'm old school. I remember Jazz Under the Stars. But a phenomenal event. They started that during the pandemic for a way for us to just get out and social distance, but also socialize with our friends and a little potluck and some entertainment. You would love it. We have a beautiful courtyard at 5508. We have 2 pergolas.
Oh wow.
We have that covering. And so it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad DJ CEO came on for just a minute. So
I'm there.
You're there?
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there.
All right. And I like, you know, at First Fridays, DJ CEO, you've been kind of adding a couple of little birthdays in on the celebration.
We have. It helps for others to be a part of it. But it's Fresh Fridays, not first, but fresh. Fresh Fridays.
Fresh Fridays.
Yes. And we'll keep you posted on it.
FRESH. I told you I was old school. You remember when we used to do First Fridays?
For sure.
Way back in the day. But
If you
thank
want to
God.
follow me though, I post everything. I try to just give people a taste of what's happening here in the Treasure Coast. And it's been my pleasure and honor to be able to not just even do my business, but singing is what I actually do. It is actually my gift. I feel like, you can have a calling and you have gifts and talents, but my gift is my gift of music and song. And it allows me, music says things that words can never explain or never express. And so it is my first passion is music. Absolutely.
Okay.
So do you see why we had to have her here in the Tampa area? Tampa needs to know about her. Tampa, yes, we definitely need to know about you. And I want it so bad. And I've been telling Muffy, I'm like, Muffy, I need you here. I know you're down there with Mama, but Tampa needs you here. You have so much that we really want some pure goodness and some Muffy here. But yeah.
Absolutely. Again,
I need to come. I'm going to talk to you guys after this. I would love to come down and do a workshop or do an herbalism class. I'm willing to come down if people want to sign up. So we'll talk about that more and figure it out. And I'm going to say, I haven't even talked to Queen, but I'm going to start trying to send you products. Make sure you have products in your store so that
we
they
talked
can
about
get
that.
it.
I'm doing the show.
So we're gonna do better. I'm gonna have the eczema products. I'm gonna have the hair products, the deodorant,
yes, okay.
and I'm
It's
gonna
Zoom.
have
Yeah,
elderberry
yeah.
syrup and elderberry gummies.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
DJ is trying to say something. DJ CEO?
No, I'm good. If you heard me, I didn't mute my mic, but what I'd like though is for one of you all to send me her information.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll shoot it to you after the show. Well, you have our email address in our group email, but I'll make sure that you have. She sent me her 2 websites and her contact information. We will forward that to you. Listen, here's an opportunity. Shout out, happy 101st birthday to Mrs. Annie Simmons, and we'll be celebrating with her here shortly. Final thoughts in our last couple of minutes here as we begin to wrap up the show. We'll start with you, our host, Muffy Charles. Make your appeal for Tampa Bay to come out.
Listen, I have not been most of the year, so you want to be in the house. I won't be able to stay to the end event because I have a community event that I've got to make it back to, but I'm showing up. I'm going to have the products. Please come out, support all the vendors. But if you have any questions, concerns, ailments, or just need some guidance, please stop by my booth. You'll see me. It's a blue tent. Come talk to me. Let's have some conversation. Let's connect. I want to be a blessing to you and your family. Let me pour into you what's been poured into me so that you can see great results with healthy healing solutions from pure goodness.
Awesome. And Muffy, let me just say this. When you come out and check our campus out, we have the perfect place for hosting events and workshops, not just the courtyard, but we have a co-working space. We have a conference room. We have a huge warehouse, which is perfect for large events and workshops.
Okay.
So put a note in that. We have the perfect location for you. Queen, final thought?
Yes, yes. And also Muffy will be performing at 1 p.m. So you don't want to miss her performance. So you got a snippet of the video. You definitely want to come out and watch her performance at 1 p.m. I'm excited. I have to go back and watch all her old videos because we knew each other by her products. I never knew she was a singer, and that's everything. So
Regina,
yeah,
give us the address.
she
Give
will
us
be
the address
performing.
for give us the address.
The
for
address
Rebirth.
is 1924 East Comanche is where the Rebirth Gospel Park, and you'll be there with all our vendors that will be out. Come out and support. It is a free event. However, please go on Eventbrite and get the free tickets. That will give our food vendors an idea of how much food they need to cook. Our people with products, how many products. So please get the free tickets, 1924 East Comanche, 11 to 5 p.m. this Saturday. See you there.
All right. Thank you so much. Shout out to Mrs. Kalia Campbell O'Neill, our co-host who's been traveling for a minute. We miss you. Listen, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to In Touch News. Thank you for taking your lunch break with Let's Talk Business with Sherryl J. Cusseaux and Queen Regina Johnson. We look forward to seeing you all. Next week coming up, DJ CEO, the Let's Talk Business with SJC and all of her co-hosts will be celebrating the 4th anniversary on In Touch Radio. We will be all month long with new and exciting guests. Thank you, Muffy Charles. Thank you to my co-host, Regina Johnson. Thank you, DJ CEO. This show is a wrap.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.